Hello everyone, Song here. I do Yiquan, which is a traditional Chinese martial art. There are health side and combat side of doing Yiquan. When it comes to combat, I fully understand the disadvantages of Yiquan players. So I was always wondering if I could take some boxing classes to improve my sparring, to be more practical in a real fight. One of the things that I always thought that I couldn't do sparring very well was my eyesight. I've been wearing glasses since I was 13. Without glasses, I'm basically half blind. And in a sparring, I have to be off glasses. Earlier this year, I saw some videos from social media. It's a professional boxing coach, and very interesting that he was wearing glasses in most of his videos. When I saw the videos, I said to myself, you gotta speak to him. And a few months later, which was actually the day before yesterday, I finally went to visit him. And my first question was the eyesight problem. And he said it's not an issue in boxing. As long as you can see your opponent moving, it's good enough. And then I knew that his eyesight was much worse than mine. If I'm half blind, this guy is blind. So it was really encouraging to know that people with bad eyesight could still train themselves to be a good fighter or boxer. I had a quiet conversation with him and another professional boxer from China. So this coach came to Japan to study 9 years ago, but somehow he began to learn boxing and he made himself a professional boxer, and he got back injuries later, and eventually he became a coach, and now he's running this club. It's a professional boxing club. They train professional fighters, boxers, and of course, to survive business, they also teach amateurs like me, people with no experience, or kids. But the training contents are the same. They use the same contents to train the professionals and people like us. So I went there again the next day, which was yesterday, to take my first boxing class. While I was waiting for my session, there was another person doing his session with the coach, and I asked him like, how long have you been doing this? He said pretty recent. And based on his movements and his punches, I got an idea that he must be a beginner. During their session, the coach asked him once, why can't you strike with more power? Why can't you do it with your full strength? And the guy replied, my wrist hurts and my knees hurt. And I was like, man, you're a beginner. You're already hurting yourself. And the coach already told me that he had really bad injuries in the back. As a health exercise teacher, I pay attention on these things. And I really wanted to tell them that you guys should do some standing exercise. The Zhanzhuang exercise. They could fix your problems. They could keep you from getting more injuries. But I was just a student there, so I kept my mouth shut. None of them knew about Zhanzhuang or Yiquan anyways. So then comes my session. The first thing I learned was boxing posture. It's basically like this. And, compared to this, the Yiquan posture is basically like this. If we compete with a boxer, we'd be in trouble from the first to second, because this posture is too wide open. The next thing I learned was how to throw a jab. I was asked to reach as much as possible, extend the shoulder here, straighten the elbows, and try to strike with full strength. This point, straighten the elbows and everything, then I was like, no wonder the beginners would hurt themselves. In Yiquan, we never straighten the joints. That's how we protect our joints. I've been doing Yiquan for 9 years. I never hurt a joint. I never hurt a muscle. Another thing is most of the time the coach was asking me to strike with full strength. And before I'm able to keep my postures correct in those movements, if I strike with full strength, I could hurt myself. I gotta be really careful here because this is my first boxing class. I shouldn't make too many comments. I just want to say this from Yiquan's perspective. With the elbow straightened and you're so reaching out and you do it with your full strength, you are likely to hurt yourself, and you could hurt yourself really bad. That being said, I was so interested in these skills, and I will continue to take his classes, and I am confident that I can keep myself from getting injuries. And I know I have to take this slow. I gotta change my postures, and I have to be familiar with the postures before I strike with more power. I will take my time. I think that's the best way of doing this. It's just bad that a lot of people don't know that they could be healthy and gaining combat skills at the same time. And it's even ironic. Those people may believe to get hurt or injuries is unavoidable. Here's some advice for the people who are following my content. If you just want to lose some weight, to be more energetic, to be healthier and stronger, Yiquan is as good as enough. And for those who are already doing traditional Chinese martial arts, you can't live in your fantasy. Your style or your skill is above all. Just because your ancestors were great fighters, the grandmasters, doesn't mean you could be a great fighter. Man, think about those people. The professional boxing skills are highly developed to make people fight. How can you compete with them in your little fantasy? Well, the drawback of boxing training is probably injuries. I hope they have solutions to that. But my solution to that is Zhanzhuang, the standing exercise. I hope to learn more practical skills without getting injuries. And I will include those things in my future teaching, which could benefit a lot of people. And that's all for this video. See you again. Bye.